All right, thank you so much for joining. It's an honor to have you here today. Today is the 16th day of August 2026. And if you're just joining, please do well to share this video with others. Let them know where you are at this point in time. Also, let's not forget to like and subscribe. If you have been here for a while, please do well to like, do well to subscribe, so that next time we are up, even if it's not on a Sunday night like this, you'll be the first person to know about it. All right, that's very important. I'll give you some seconds to do that. However, if you're just coming or if you're just seeing me for the first time, my name is Dozie Chuks. I'm a software engineer, and in the software space, in the tech space, I'm called Chuks. I'm someone who likes to talk about some topics that I consider relatable, and also things that I think people should know about. All right. I've always ensured to mention that these topics I talk about, they are not sermons, they are conversations. All right. So even if from time to time references are made to the Bible, these are conversations that I think people should find very practical and also very relatable. And of course, the reason we make reference to the Bible from time to time is because it's true. All right. So let's go right into it. Our conversation for today, speaking of relatable topics, is something that you've probably done without even knowing. I mean, there's a very high tendency that you have done this that we're about to talk about today. Also, there's also a very high tendency that you have been a recipient of this kind of thing, but maybe you haven't even taken out time to notice it. All right. And speaking of that topic, it's nothing else but first responders. Right? That's what we're talking about today. First responders. Are you ready for this? I think you should be ready because it's something that you're going to find very, very relatable. All right. So let's dive right into it. All right. Good. So when you hear the word first responders, what immediately comes to your mind? I mean, maybe in Nigeria, we don't really have them like that. Like in this, we don't call them first responders, right? But there are people you call in times of emergency. So let's look at the people that are actually called first responders, maybe from other countries, right? So we're thinking, you're looking at police, you're thinking at firefighters, you're looking at paramedics, all right? And these are people you literally call when something goes wrong, all right? And I just thought about this one day, and I started asking myself, wait, when there are issues, there are people that you just call and they just come, right? And I noticed that if countries have this and it's making those countries operate at an optimum level in terms of responding to emergencies and all of that, I think it would be important that we have these as human beings too. As individuals, it's important that we have people we can call first responders. And then I thought again, I was like, I think we already do have them, right? We have people that we tend to always call when we're heartbroken, or when we're frustrated, or when we're having a bad day at work, or when, you're just going on the road, someone tries to attack you or something. There are people that we tend to always call, even if we don't know. Some people know for sure that this is who I'm going to call when things go south. And others are like, well, there's nobody I really call. However, when those issues come up, they tend to call certain people in their circle. All right. that is exactly who a first responder is. So some of the questions I would like you to ask yourself at this point is just, take a couple of seconds to think about this. When I receive a bad news, who do I call? Who gets the first call? When I'm afraid, who do I call? Where do I run to? Right? When you are confused, when you need, I just need to take your brain on this, who do you reach out to? Right? And this is the interesting thing, right? I'm not asking whether you pray or not. I'm asking, who do you call first? All right. So let's talk about that. That's going to be our first conversation. By the way, we're going to have 2 conversations and we'll call it a day. So this is the first conversation. Who do you call? Who is your first responder? All right. So let's fly right into it. I want to look at it from a biblical perspective. All right. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in time of trouble. That's taken from Psalm 46 verse 1. But believing God can help. And turning to God are 2 different things. Those are like, you can believe God, but actually not turn to Him. It's like knowing that I need to get to a place quickly. You know that you have a car at home, but you decide to trek. Believing God is like knowing that you have that car at home. Turning to God is like actually using the car so that I can get there quickly. All right? And sometimes our order tends to look like this. We first of all call somebody, another person, Google it, ask friends, try to fix it ourselves, panic small, try another solution, and then finally like, oh, okay. It's true. When we're in trouble, we need to ask God. So, and that's when we now get to pray, right? These are practical, practical ways. But one thing I want to also point out here is that when we are living in this world, God has placed us around people. God has placed us around people. And if we must enjoy this world to a very high extent, then we must, from time to time, rely on people. And so, if we are being honest, your first responder could be your spouse. That's for those of you that are not single like me. It could be your parents. It could be a friend. It could be withdrawal. Many of us are in this category. We tend to withdraw. Just, or more. I don't know what's going on. Let me just stay back. It's like everything is happening at once. Some of us, we tend to panic. This is one thing I've tried to talk people out of panicking, because panicking is one of those things that as long as you are panicking, your brain tends to reduce in terms of functionality. All right. So panic, some people just fly right into solving. Some people go into AI to go and start asking, and then some people honestly just go and pray about it. But why actually do we think we instinctively need to run to certain people or certain things first? Like, by default, why do we run to people first? I've said it. The reason why we tend to run to people first is because we are in a world of people. This is the world of men. And so it's easier sometimes. It's not easier, but most times we walk by sight. All right. And it's easier to just complain to people that are around you. All right. But to be honest, I know that this is not easy, but this is actually the best solution. All right. Pray about it. You know, sometimes you can only know your true support system when you need support. Sometimes you can only know your true support system when you need support. All right. So I'll give you a story. There was a time where I had an issue with someone, and to be honest, if I had gone through with that issue, even by now, I think I would have still been in a confused state, you know. And one thing I like to do when I'm kind of in a state where I really don't know what to do is I tend to play music, and somehow the kind of music I play determines if I'm trying to think fast or if I'm trying to calm down. And so this particular incident, I had a misunderstanding with the person. The person had an upper hand in this situation. That one is definitely like person at that point had an upper hand. And so I just had to play a song, and while I was just playing the song, you know, I now felt like, okay, let me just tell God. To be honest, I was not praying to get any answer. I was just praying to fulfill all righteousness. May it not be like say I no pray. That's the truth. All right. I was just praying to like, let not be as if I not pray, because all these things now before you know they'll say, did you pray about it? So let me just pray. May it not be like say I not pray. It's not like I really wanted to pray, you know. And then as soon as I started praying, all I heard was apologize. That's all I just kept hearing, apologize. The prayer didn't even last up to like 5-10 minutes. And so guess what? I swallowed all my pride. And I went and apologized. And that solved the problem. The issue I had then, that's what solved it. All right? So your default should be God. And I'm not saying this because I always run to God by default. I'm saying it because I think that should be your first responder. You understand? After you've prayed about it, even if it's briefly, even if it's to fulfill all righteousness, by the time you make that your habit, that, okay, when I have an issue first, I will just pray about it. Whether you're just mumbling about it or whether you're just trying to fulfill all righteousness, make that your first action. All right? Sometimes you can consciously tell yourself this thing. Let's say your mom is your first responder. This is what you can do. You can say, okay, let me pray about this, then I'll call my mom. You can do that because what you do over time becomes a habit. And if you see people who watch, should I say this? If you see people who watch K-drama, all right? You see people who watch K-drama, all the K-drama fans, please, I'm sorry, but I just have to say this. If you see people who watch K-drama, initially, when they start watching it, they tell you, yeah, I know, this is just a movie. It's nothing serious. It's just a series. But guess what? After a while, after they watched it for some months and some years, now they start believing that those kind of love exists out there. They start believing that all those things they are watching on the K-drama actually exist, like it's a normal thing out there. The problem is not that the K-drama became better. What changed is the consistency. They've watched it over and over and over and over, and now they just believe that it is what it is, and all those things are possible. It's like waking up every day and telling yourself some lies. Over time, you start believing it. There are some, I watch crime documentaries, and there was a particular crime documentary I watched. The guy went through a life detector test and he still passed. And you know, when they were reviewing, how did this guy manage to pass this thing, even if we know that he's lying? What happened? From the day he committed the crime to the day police found him, he kept on, what he said in the lie detector test, he kept on rehearsing it to himself, saying it. I did not do anything wrong. I did not do anything wrong. I did not do it. And so it became true to him. That's the same thing. If you just make praying your first response before calling any other person, over time it's going to start working for you. Like actively, you'll be seeing results through that. All right. So, that's that on that. So the problem is not that you should not talk to people first, or you should not talk to people about your problem. Just let the priorities, let the order be God first. All right. All right. All right. So, even if I've said all these things that I've said now, you need to also understand something. The other side of this conversation is that life runs somehow on trade by barter. It may not be trade by barter, but it runs on the give and take system, which means when you need help, when you're in confusion, or when you're frustrated, or when there's an emergency, you tend to call some people after praying to God. You tend to reach out to some people. It could be your friend, it could be your colleague, it could be your siblings, it could be anybody you consider trustworthy or very close to you. All right? Now, the second part of this conversation, let's talk about you. When people run to you that they are frustrated or they have an emergency or something, how do you respond as a first responder? All right. So this leads us to the second conversation. What kind of first responder are you? So when people call you, say their relationship has collapsed, or they lost their job, or they are confused, they are afraid, they made a terrible mistake, they simply just need somebody to talk to. What kind of first responder are you? And for me, this is the most important part, because I think as people, we should care more about how we impact people rather than how people impact us. Both of them are important, but I think we should be more mindful of how we impact people. All right. So let's talk about this quickly. Somebody brings their emergency to you. What arrives? You know, when somebody comes and says, "Hey, see what I'm going through. I did this or I did that." What is usually your response to that? Do you start judging them? But you see, did I not tell you that? Boy, this thing now that you're coming to tell me now, maybe I warned you that time. Or do you go into judgment mode? Or do you say, okay, don't worry, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Then as soon as the person steps out, hello? Yeah. If you hear what this guy said, hey, you have entered gossip mode. Or do you join the person and start panicking? Because there are some people, to be honest, if you're in a house with them and the house is on fire and you notice the fire first, there are some people you will not tell. If it's possible, you have to tell them, oh, come and do something at the back of the house. You take them out where they will not see the fire before you now go and tell another person. the house they burn. Because there's some people, once you tell them, they just panic. They even panic more than you that has the problem. And you'll be like, hey, you now start advising the person that you came for to receive advice from. It's like, no, you calm down. It's not that serious. You know those kind of people. Panic is there. All right. Or are you going to respond calmly? Or are you going to respond with wisdom? Are you going to respond with compassion? Are you going to, pray for the person? Or are you going to like have a listening ear? The Bible says, be quick to listen and slow to speak. And that's in James chapter 1 verse 9. Be quick to listen and be slow to speak. And the reason why this is very important is because as a person, you must understand that if you're not sure of what to say, just keep quiet. Like, you need to start practicing it. To hear people having a very serious conversation and you just keep quiet. You need to practice it. You need to practice it. Because sometimes we just feel the urge to say something. And that say something will even scatter the situation. It will now be worse than it was. Learn to listen. Learn to listen to people. And the reason why I started this way with this second conversation is because, look at this. If a house is burning and firefighters come to the scene, they don't start asking questions like, how did this fire happen? No. The firefighters go straight and start switching off the fire. Even if somebody lit a match and threw it and that was what caused the fire, they will still try to solve it first before they go into investigation. What happened? How did this fire start? Paramedics, if they come and they tell them that somebody collapsed, the ER guys, they come and they are jumping around. They are trying to resuscitate the person. As they are resuscitating the person, they find out that this person has lived a very harmful lifestyle. Maybe the person smokes a lot. They will not be giving you CPR and be saying, just look at this foolish boy. Person will they try save. How you could smoke? No. They just start saving you. They do everything in their power to save you at that time. Then when they are done saving you, they can now start advising you like, what you're smoking, it don't almost kill you. Do you understand? So these guys are trained on emotional intelligence. They are trained to have a very high emotional quotient so that they don't respond to things the way a typical person is going to respond to it. And now I'm saying you can train yourself to respond just like the firefighters. You can train yourself to respond just like the ER guys, the guys who take care of you until you get to the hospital. The firefighters who will come and start putting out the fire even without knowing the cause of the fire. The reason why this conversation is important is because you may not need it today, but one day you're going to have children. One day you're going to have family. One day you could be in a position where you need to maintain calmness in order for everybody to get out of it. My dad told me something one time, and he told me that, we had an incident, and during the incident, my dad just looked so calm. He was just relaxed and everything. But after everything, thank God nothing really happened. It went smoothly. There was no problem. I overheard him. So he didn't tell me, but I overheard him talking with my mom. And he was talking about how dangerous what happened was. And at that time, he was sounding really worried about what just happened. But during the incident itself, he didn't flinch, he didn't behave like anything was happening. And that showed me something. Because later I talked to my brother about it, and my brother was telling me, if the person that everybody is looking up to at the point of emergency is panicking, what do you expect the people who are looking up to the person to do? Do you get? It means that there are sometimes people come to you with crazy situations, crazy urgent experiences, and you just have to do something or tell them something. Even if you know that that situation is very scary or is very dangerous, or you just have to maintain your steez. You just have to maintain your composure. All right? So, let's talk about this quickly. Have you ever opened up to somebody and immediately regretted telling them? Me? Yes, I have. You understand? Now, flip it again. Because I like to flip questions. Have you ever spoken to somebody during a difficult moment and left the conversation feeling lighter? You know, for you to be a good first responder, you must train yourself on your emotional quotient. Galatians 6 verse 2 says, carry each other's burdens. It does, like, sometimes when there's a problem, try to solve it first before you go into questioning or anything. I say this, I have someone that's very close to me, I always say this too. When there's a problem, forget about who did it, who did not do it, what is happening. Is there a solution to this problem now? If there's a solution, let's solve it first. Do you understand? So that when we are now trying to attack who did it or who did not do it and all of that, we know that the issue on ground has already been fixed. Imagine somebody is cooking in your house and the person just starts shouting, fire, fire, fire. And the reason for the fire, apparently, is that the person just put groundnut oil on fire and then left it. And so you obviously know that at some point it's going to catch fire. When the oil thins out, it becomes highly flammable. And because of all the oxygen, it just gets engulfed in fire. And so imagine you come at that point that you're seeing the fire and then you start saying, why did you switch off the gas when you have heated it for a while? Why didn't you? And the fire will not stop to say, Shebi, I told him, the fire will just continue burning. And if you're not careful, the time you will spend to start looking for who is at fault and who is not at fault, or I told you, I did not tell you, Shebi, I warned you, I did not warn you, boom, that fire can spread. So sometimes you have to control yourself. Yes, you may have warned the person about it. Yes, you may have advised the person against what they ended up doing. But try to calm down the situation. Even if you don't want to fix it, try to bring the situation to a stable state first before you start trying to do the attack. All right? And so, important questions I would like to ask, and I want you to honestly take time and handle the answers to this question. All right? And if any of the answers to this question is no, like nobody can call you, because how you will know that somebody, like you're somebody that somebody can trust. It's not if they complain to you once. If somebody can complain to you several times at different times in life, then you know that maybe this person trusts me enough to still come back to me and tell me. And it all depends on how you handle the last one that the person told you. All right. So, question number 1: are you a safe person to call? Can somebody call you when things are going crazy? Number 2: can people bring their weaknesses? Can people bring you their weaknesses? Can they bring their weaknesses to you without becoming tomorrow's discussion? There are some people, once you tell them something, if they have a podcast like mine, just know that their next topic is going to be you. Just know it. Their next topic is going to be you. And of course, can somebody call you and say, oh, I messed up, without immediately receiving condemnation? And then again, can someone cry around you without feeling embarrassed? Can somebody disagree with you and still feel respected? Can somebody disagree with what you're saying and still feel respected? These are things that you need to actually ask yourself. And if the answer to any of these questions is no, then believe me, you can actually work on it. You can actually work on it. All right. So I'll close this way. Tonight, we have asked 2 questions. Number 1 is, who is your first responder? And the second one is, what kind of first responder are you? When your world shakes, where do you run to? And when somebody else's world shakes, can they run to you? Or what do they receive if they decide to run to you? The reason why these conversations are important is that from time to time, you may get into emergencies. And from time to time, people can run to you for emergencies. It's very important that you know who to run to. And it's also very important that when people run to you, they are able to receive help. Thank you so much for joining. I'm happy to have you guys here. See you guys next week. And I hope this conversation was something that actually brought you some clarity and some moments where you got to think about, how you have been so far and how you can be better. Remember, the topic was first responders, and I'll be seeing you guys next week. Please make sure you like, share, also subscribe, so that when next we show up with a topic or we're just live, we could be live for any reason. Please make sure that you are. By subscribing, you'll be one of the first people to know about it. All right? Thank you so much, and good night.